Welcome to Blood Conversations. I'm Twylisha. I'm still hot as fuck.
I'm Rosemary, and we're still in Georgia. Again, every time Twy's like, I'm hot, I'm like, we live in Georgia. And it's only, by the way, it's only April in Georgia. Like, it's like a balmy 75 degrees right now. We're not even talking Georgia heat. We're not even talking Georgia summer. We're not talking 80 degrees right now. It is 75 degrees and we're in the shade. Basically my idea of heaven.
If I was just sitting here, I probably wouldn't be hot. But first of all, there's smoke blowing in my eyes from the campfire because we're camping. And I'm picking up things and moving them around. And I was trying to set this shit up. And that was a hassle. So I was like getting hot. And then there was no breeze. And I was like, it's too dark. They can't see me. And I know you still can't see me, but I'm not going to go sit in the sun so you can see me. You're just going to have to imagine, you know, what a dark-skinned woman looks like.
My thing with Twy is that when she gets hot, fine, but she'll just get naked. Like,
Yeah,
we're not
definitely was about to take
in
my
public.
clothes
And
off.
I'm just like, in front of people. She's like, but I'm hot. I'm like, nobody cares. Nobody cares that you're hot, Twy. Nobody cares. They want you to put your clothes on.
We went to an Airbnb, right? And at the Airbnb, it was one of those crunchy ones where the people like are renting out their actual house that they live in, which I always think is kind of weird. Like, bro, why are you renting out your house that you live in? That's kind of weird. But whatever. It was where we needed to be, so we stayed there. So when we get inside, the people them like, so if you need a nice tray, it's in the freezer, and if you need washcloth, it's in the linen cabinet, like telling me shit like I know how to use a house.
And anything you don't need, we left notes all around the house to let you know where to find things, or like whatever. But like Twy's getting hot,
so I'm getting hot, and I'm like, start taking my shirt up.
I'm like, just
Pants about to start coming off,
mind you,
and I'm looking at these people in my mind like, why are they telling me how to use a house when I know how to use a house? Like, get out.
Like,
I'm
also
hot.
they had their bags on, like they weren't like gonna stay for coffee. Like they had their bag, but like she was like, no, you don't have any time. And I was like, and I literally was like, Twy, leave your clothes on. Like,
she like, they're still here. I was like, I paid for this. They can leave.
You can't get naked in front of people.
I feel like I can.
And she will, but until she's arrested, apparently this will continue to be a thing. Like, she's like, but I'm hot. I'm like, nobody cares you're hot. You can't get naked in public because you're hot.
I feel like I can. I don't know what to tell her. Like,
It's gonna blow up in her face.
I'm about to take this shirt off. Like, I'm hot right now.
Again, it's 75 degrees. Have you seen her move and pick up something heavy in the last 5 minutes? No. It's 75 degrees. I don't understand.
Look,
when I'm hot, I'm miserable. But, like, she's got a fan on her.
I need it. I'm hot. Anyway, we didn't come here to talk about that I'm hot. That's obvious.
We're camping.
We like to camp. Did we mention that?
We did.
We have an event called Blackout Campout. Did we mention that? I don't like that part of my body's not in the frame. I can't get any closer to you.
We'll slide the thing over more. Can you slide it over towards me more?
I don't know. No, that didn't help.
Yeah, I don't feel like you... Like, what?
Oh.
I'm like, oh, what was that? You just slid it back. You didn't slide it towards you.
I don't know. You guys...
I don't know.
Anyway, so we finally made it out camping in Georgia. It's been nice.
We talked briefly about in the last episode how Twy manifested my unemployment so that I could go camping.
She keeps saying that, and I don't know why she would say such a thing, because I really did not want her to be unemployed.
She was literally like packed the next day though. She's like, oh, that's so sad.
Okay, it was sad, but I wanted to go camping. Like, I didn't want her to not work. I wanted to go camping.
How else was that gonna happen?
Just like I'm not supposed to wish somebody away. I'm supposed to wish that somebody get it right.
Yes.
So I did not wish that you didn't have a job. I wish that I could go camping.
How was that going to happen if I didn't have a job, Twy?
That was not...
This is what I'm saying.
That was
she
not
be
part of
shit
it.
in the air and be like, it wasn't me. But it was. Like, if we go down this road, I didn't say that. I just didn't want to go camping by myself. Okay.
I was looking for a friend.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, you can't just go camping
You can't
with
go
nobody.
camping with anybody.
Because, you know, it's a very collaborative effort. And the team got to work together. Like, okay, speaking of the team got to work together. So the first time Rose and I went camping, this is a good segue. You can't just go camping with any old body. So the first time Rose and I went camping, we had been hiking all summer, living our best nature girl life. And we was like, we should just go, like, overnight. Like, we should just go tenting. Rose is down, I'm down. Whoever came up with the idea, we both was down.
No, I think it was Twy, because Twy was like thirsty to do it, and once she starts sending me like Googles, I know things are gonna happen. Like she thinks she's subtle, but she's not. She's like, so I found this campsite. And I'm like, okay, like all right, I guess whatever.
So we are talking about it, and I'm like, if I do this, I have to invite my sister. But I'm not saying it like, ooh, I gotta invite my sister. I'm saying it just like that. Like, if I go do this, I have to invite my sister.
I've got family. We've talked about the fact I have unreal family. So I'm like, yeah,
I'm
okay.
just like, she's super unreal. She's just gonna make everything much more of a hassle than it needs to be. But in my mind, I'm still trying to be a family. Like, I'm still trying to be real. So I was like, whatever.
And she had specifically asked.
And she specifically did ask, like, I see you going hiking and stuff with your friends. If you're gonna, like, next time you go, could you invite me? And I was like, how I'm gonna just show up on a whole overnight camping trip? Like, we didn't have that conversation. So I was like, all right, well, I'll invite her. But at the same time, it's like, there's a lot of organization that goes into camping. You gotta be a slightly real person. You don't gotta be the best person in the world, but you definitely have to be
forethought is needed.
Real.
Forethought is needed. Like, and we were saying, like, it's hard to get, in particular, a lot of black people camping. We'll get to that later.
So,
but like, you need to have some plans about it.
You need to have some plans. And I know my sister doesn't plan things well, so I did my best to fill in the gaps where she was concerned. I was like, look, you gotta do this, do this by then. So as the summer is and the date for the camping trip is approaching, like, nobody's making it on the Zoom calls. Zoom is life since COVID. Nobody's making it onto the Zoom calls. Nobody wants to plan, like, because we have 5 people planned to go. You need to know who's going to bring what. You don't want redundancies because you're camping. You only have limited space.
I was trying to be organized. Again, first time campers like everybody else who were supposedly going, but we're trying to be real about this because we know we're first time campers. We're not just going to show up in the woods like, nah, what do we do now? Like,
exactly. So nobody's showing up to plan. So I'm like, Rose, is probably just going to be me and you in the woods. Like it is now. It's just me and her here. Mm-hmm. I'm like, it's probably just going to be me and you in the woods. She's like, I know. My sister, I'm just still trying to fill in her gaps, though. Long story short, she ends up on the trip with us.
Now, thank goodness I bought a giant tent because I be lying to myself and convincing myself that I'm going to get my children to do my activities that they could care less about. And so I have this big ass tent with just me, which is fine because her sister showed up without a tent for camping.
So she hits me up. She's like, I don't have the money for a tent. So I was like, okay. I had bought a tent, but it was small. It was a 4-person, which really is just a 1 person. And in reality, it's a no person because you couldn't even stand up in the tent. But that's another story. Anyway, I said to her, get yourself an air mattress and you can sleep in my tent. Like, no, not an air mattress. Get yourself a sleeping bag and you can sleep in my tent. So she says, okay. So she just shows up with an air mattress. And I'm like, rewind this back to when I said, get yourself a sleeping bag and you can sleep in my tent. But now she's at my house with this air mattress. And I'm like, because my tent is not going to fit 2 air mattresses.
But I also had got a larger tent because the girls we had originally planned on going with, I felt were going to be flaky. And I was like, let me just get a bigger tent so that if they can't do the tent thing, they can just stay in. I got a big ass tent. Like, it's fine.
Yeah. So luckily for her, Rose had a big ass tent because I didn't have a big ass tent. I had a for me tent. So that works out. But like throughout the weekend, no cooperation, no helping, no adding anything to the campsite. She's just out of control all weekend.
To stop. No, because like when we got there, again, fine. You go camping with no tent, whatever. She could not believe there was no Wi-Fi service. Could not. was
She was like about to have a panic attack because there was no service.
Like, wait, there's no service? Like, no service the whole time? Like, wait, what do you mean? And I just was so like...
I think we're having like a 3 or 4 day weekend.
3 days. It wasn't, 4 days. I think it was 4 days, 3 nights. And that was it. So, like... She was just like... And so I was just like, no, I mean, that's kind of the gist of
We're
camping.
outside. We're in nature. We're supposed to be enjoying nature.
Like, what if somebody needs me? What if I need to get home? And I'm just like...
She's like, I'm not going to be able to tell anybody where I'm at. And I'm like, did you run away from home and didn't tell your family you were going camping? Like, I didn't know what was happening. So I'm ignoring her, as I tend to do with my sister, because she's just always surly and worried about stuff that I'm like, we're already here. Like, I'm not, what you want me to bring you back home? Like, I'm not going to do that. So I'm just ignoring her. I'm not paying her no mind. Nighttime falls. She pulls out illicit substances.
We'll go with that.
Whatever. She pulls out some things and she's like, hey guys, you want a party? And me and Rose are like, maybe. But also no. Like, it was... So...
I think we were just drinking.
My sister parties and we are like, let's go out into the clearing so we can see the stars.
You know you skipped over the car.
No, I didn't.
Oh.
That was the first night. Remember? That was before.
That was before?
That was before
I
the
thought
car.
it was the next night.
Nah, I think that was like the first night.
Wow.
So,
That's crazy.
the smoke is in my eyes. Jesus Christ.
Oh, s'mores. I gotta get them off.
Rose has to check the s'mores.
Here's a
She's just going to be right here off camera, so I'm going to continue telling the story. So, we go out to see the stars, and she comes with. Now, everybody has a little camp lantern, you know, a little battery-operated lantern. We go out, we look, oh my God, the stars.
I think we might have had our Contigo, like,
Yeah,
real light.
Oh my God, stars. Like, you know, like we never seen stars before, whatever the fuck. So, then I hear water. So, I'm like, I want to go down by the water rose because I want to see if the water level rose. Because when we got there, it was really low. But at night, it was sounding like it was running. So I was like, let's go. I want to go see what's going on with the water. So, you know, we had to cut through the woods a little bit. So we start cutting through the woods to get to the riverbank. And, like, it was almost like I could feel my sister's energy. Like, you ever feel somebody, like, energy just change? And I swear this happened in a matter of, like, 3 steps. Like, it was like, Twy, I don't want to do this. Twy, I'm scared. And like every one was more panicked than the last one. And I
we're
didn't
walking
even,
down a path.
We're on a path. We're not even 5 minutes from our campsite. Like, we're just
trolling. Like,
we're not even 2 minutes from people. Like, it was crazy. So I didn't even have time to like turn around and be like, what's wrong, before she was in a full-blown panic. She turns around, she starts running off into the dark, and Rose starts cackling. She starts laughing her fucking face off.
It was so
sudden. I'm in between these
I thought
two
it was
people.
like a prank. Like, also, no, like, imagine this. We're going along with our, like, lanterns and Contigos, tra-la-la-la-la, stars, tra-la-la-la-la. Oh no, I'm scared. Oh no, I can't. Ah! And I was like, wait, what's this? Is this improv? Oh, I love that.
I thought it was a flash mob.
I mean, what was I to think? Well, I wasn't thinking she was having some kind of manic episode. I was thinking that she was, like, playing. But then when I realized she couldn't, like, she wasn't playing, didn't help. Because now I'm in an extremely awkward situation that is going from a really wide range of variety, like, of emotions.
So, like, she's running off because she's scared of the dark. She's scared of the dark.
Are you handing it to me or you're
I'm handing it to you. And I'm back. I'm like, Rose is behind me, and I'm like holding up the lantern, like, but come back. Like, why are you running off into the dark when the light and the people that you know are back here? Like, that's what I said.
Making me laugh more because when you state the obvious, it is hysterical to me. So I'm just like, well, she's got to know we got the lights. She left them.
So she's still like kind of like power walking away into the darkness, and then like, oh, I should interject that I had a knife because we're in the woods, and she was already acting kind of scary before we left the campsite. So I said, don't worry, I got a knife. I'll protect you in case, like, what the fuck is gonna happen? We're at a goddamn safe park ground. We're not in the wilderness. We're not crazy. So anyway, I have this knife. My sister's freaking out. I'm trying to explain to her, if you're afraid of the dark, come back to us because we have lanterns.
I'm still just laughing.
She's laughing like a maniac. So I got this one laughing like a maniac behind me. I got this one having a full manic episode in front of me, and I'm just like, I just wanted to see what was going on with the water and if there was going to be water. Like, I was just going to try to do Scorpio things hanging out by the water. So finally, I get my sister to come back.
How?
I don't know how I got her back to me, but I remember when she did get back.
Because she was like, look at me. And I'm
like, that's when she was already back and saying, like, somehow we got together and she was still freaking out. And I was like, look. And I'm like, I have my hands on her shoulder. And I'm like, look at me. Look at your sister. And I'm like, describe your sister. Because I didn't know how to. I was like, she's somewhere else. Because she started asking me if I still love her and if I was mad at her about some bullshit she pulled. That's a whole other episode. But I was like, bitch, I'm in the woods trying to look at the stars. Like, I ain't trying to worry about niggas right now and shit you did 2 years ago. So I'm like, focus on this moment right here. I'm trying to bring her here because she's somewhere else completely.
Me still laughing.
So she's still laughing, and I'm like, oh my god.
It was hilarious.
It probably was. I'm not gonna hold her.
But
the thing of it is, it was just like not helping the situation. Because then my sister always thinks that somebody is trying to make fun of her anyway. Like, she always feel like
you brought it on yourself.
Somebody's after her.
Like, we were legit walking down a path, and then you just start having this thing, and I'm supposed to act like it's normal. I think it's not. And then the whole thing, I was just like,
she thought I was going to stab her with the knife. And I was like, I bought the knife. Funny me. I bought the knife for her peace of mind. And now she think I'm a stabber with it. I was like, at the state park. I got to go back to my job on Tuesday, miss. I have a job. I'm not going to stab anyone over the weekend. Is that what we do?
And that's why I could not.
Is that what I get my friends involved with? Let's kill my sister in the woods, Rose. Like, was that the plan?
And that's why
that was the big mastermind.
The more she kept talking, the more I could not stop laughing, because it was like the more she was trying to explain regular old life, I was just like, you came here with us. I don't know what's happening.
I'm like, you asked me more than the next time I did it to bring it. Now you scared of the dark. You think I'm gonna stab you. You think I'm still mad at you. Like, oh, it was craziness.
I'm burning s'mores. I'm burning the s'mores.
Oh, we high. We burning the s'mores.
It's not burnt. It's just it's really hot. Now the fire wants to be real. Okay.
Now the wood is real. So I get through that episode. I ride that wave. That wasn't even nothing. I was like, whatever. I eat those. I eat crazy sister freakouts like it's nothing. So, I wonder how much time you have before the battery dies. Probably not that much time. So, okay. I ride that one out. The next day, I have to get up and drive somewhere to get signal because I needed to go to therapy. I need to have my therapy session. So, I'm on my way out there. Now, when we had drove into the campground, the car was making some unsavory noises. And when I was trying to drive to get signal, the car was really making some unsavory sounds. And also, it was handling like shit. And so I said, I probably should turn around and just, skip therapy today because the car doesn't feel safe. So I bust a U-E, head back. As I'm heading back, Mischief, her whole fucking hip bone broke. It just broke. It just snapped. The wheel was just like, Mischief is my car.
She will just talk about things and objects and give them names and with no context to people.
Happy
and like
Halloween team.
Literally, it's a thing. Also, that freak out was the second night because the first night it almost rained. Remember? It rained the first night we went.
Oh, yeah.
Because we almost got rained on because we were trying to be like newbie campers, and I was like, I want to sleep under the
we
stars.
want to sleep under the stars. And we didn't put our rain flies
That's
up.
another... See, after you hear this story, you'll know why I was laughing so hard. Because this had just been this whole weird-ass day of me and just getting to know this person who's her sister and their weird, like, relationship. And I was just like, I don't know what's happening, so I'm just going to laugh now because now it's just hilarious. But yeah.
I still think that was the first night.
It was going to rain. Like, we were hurrying up and getting our tents together, and it, like,
that was way in the morning. That was after we went to sleep.
Yeah.
When we almost got caught in the rain. So that first night...
I swear I don't think it was that first night.
Because the second night, if she hadn't been acting like that after she was acting crazy... I think
that's why we were going to check and see if the water had risen, because it had rained.
No.
Oh.
She doesn't know what she's talking about. I hate to tell her that.
I know.
But the battery's dying and she fussing with me about the nights.
I don't think it was... It could have been.
Whatever. It was the first night. I'm going to tell you why. Because the first night, we was up late. We was drinking. It was the first night. We had just made camp. And remember, we was like, wow, look at the stars. We're going to have to go out and see it in the open outside, like away from the trees. Because the trees was covering us. And that was the night that she acted crazy. But I just was like, whatever. She acts crazy all the time.
It was every night.
The next day.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Because the next night we played Yahtzee. That night.
Yeah.
Anyway.
The next day was when I had all kind of shenanigans going on with my car. But the thing of it was, like, I was still handling my sister well throughout the day because Rose and I had not had a moment to ourselves. But when we got by ourselves, Rose was like, so this is what's been going on with your sister. Because my sister wasn't doing a lot of shit in front of me.
Which I didn't know. And so I was just like, oh my God, they're going to fight in the woods. Because when Twy wasn't around, the car was broken, like, she was going off, like, I can't not have my phone, and you know, she's going to have to drive me to town, and I'm going to have someone come pick me up. And I'm just like, oh, wow, that's a lot. Like, I mean, I'm here.
Mind you, I had made it back to the campsite. A state trooper picked me up off the side of the road.
One eternity later.
To recap a little bit, me and Rose, we went to Lake Sacandaga. I had my sister come because she asked me, like, next time when you do these things, could I invite her? Blah, blah, blah. So I invite her. She proceeds to show her ass the entire time. And so, you know, the morning I went to go to do my therapy, and my car broke down on the side of the road, and I was gone for a little bit, and I'm like, there was no service. Mind you, that's why I was away from the campsite, because there was no service where we were. So I couldn't even let them know what was going on. I couldn't even. And when I was leaving, my sister was like all thirsty bucket to go have service. So she was like, oh, I have some messages queued up on my phone so that when you hit service, they should send. And I have some songs ready to download, because she was salty because she couldn't listen to her music because she didn't prepare. But I'm like, if you want to listen to something, you should download it to your phone. That way you know you'll have it. But whatever, that's another conversation for another day. So that's what I do. I'm out, but I never got to service because my car started acting funny, and then when it broke down, and all these people stopped to help me, and I was very thankful because we had gotten some racial, like, aggressions when we were up there. So when I broke down on the side of the road, on that back ass road with no service, I was just like, oh my God, like, am I gonna be out here forever? Am I gonna have to walk back? But I was kind of far, so all these thoughts running through my mind.
It was Trump country.
It was really Trump country.
Pre-election, it was heavy with the Trump, like, posters painted on their barns. Like,
they had time. They had nothing but time and opportunity to worship Trump and where we were. So it was kind of scary to be
cell phone service,
broken down with no service, and then having all these white people, like these white men.
It was like the outside version of Get Out. It was like the Black Jurassic Park.
Yes. So I was just like, whenever people would pull over, like, because I couldn't stay in my car, mind you, because my air conditioner was broken at the time. So it was too hot to be in the car, like, and I wasn't moving, so it was just beating down sun, and I couldn't leave the windows open because black flies were flying in the windows and biting me. So I had to get out the car. So now I'm just a black woman on the side of the road in a nightgown, mind you, because I was like, oh, I'm just gonna drive and get service. I'll be right back. They were cooking breakfast. Well, Rose was cooking breakfast. They wasn't doing shit. So I just didn't, I was completely unprepared. Like, the TLDR of that is I was completely unprepared to be broken down on the side of the road.
I was timing this to the T because I knew her therapy took an hour. I had time in 15 minutes for her to get the travel service and then to back. So I was like, I should have everything just about done by the time she gets back so she can have a hot breakfast after therapy, unbeknownst to me.
So the people who stopped were very helpful. There was this one young man, I wish I could remember him and his girlfriend's name, because they stopped and they were like, well, we'll take you back to your campsite and da-da-da-da. But how it ended up happening was someone had early on in the ordeal stopped and was like, I'm going to call for help. And she said, I'm going to drive back to where I came and last had service, and I'm going to call for help for you. And she was gone for like a half an hour, and I'm all suspicious of all these white people. So I'm like, yeah, right, she gonna call for help. Because I was sitting there for like a mad long time and no help came, just more motorists came by. But she actually came back and stopped again and was like, I made it to service. I called for help for you. They know where you are. Help should be on the way. Do you need anything? Do you need any food? Do you need any water? And that was the only thing I did have. I had like 2 granola bars and like a bottle of water with me because I was like, oh, I'm going to smoke my blunt and have my therapy session and I'll have the munchies. So I'll need a little snacky. So, state trooper shows up. He's super nice, like astoundingly nice white man. I was like, what is going on here? This man was ready to drive me around all the motherfucking day. He was like, whatever you need, I'll make sure if you need us to drive you to Amsterdam.
Again, this is like a very racial 2020 summer. Like, it had been very high. It had been lots of protests. That we were avoiding it by trying to fucking relax in the woods, but still having to
deal with it. So it was kind of like, that part was corny. So I'm surprised, like, because I'm in and I got weed on me, because mind you, I just said I was going to smoke my blunt.
I was waiting for the public to put those together, because I'm like, she definitely was fucking with the trooper with smelling like a lot of weed.
Loud pack, whatever. So I'm in the state trooper's car, and he's bringing me back to the campsite. And so, like, by the time I got off the side of the road, like, I felt a lot better. I was thinking to myself, like, okay, once I got into the trooper's car, like, my mind started going, like, okay, I can do this, and that. And, like, I'm a grown woman. I'm an adult. I have car insurance. I have roadside assistance on my car insurance. So I was like, whatever. I'll just, I'll get the car picked up. I'll have it towed. I'll rent another one. And then I was like, actually, I'll have my mom bring her car out and let me use it, because we're going to be back in like 2 days at that point, right?
Yeah.
And we were leaving soon. So, like, by the time I got picked up off the side of the road, like, I had a whole plan formulated in my mind. So my anxiety was way down from where it was, because when it first happened, I was stressed, okay, and I was by myself.
When she pulls up, I just see a trooper. Now, again,
both her and my sister, they blind, they can't see, and they refuse to wear their vision wear. So
also, like,
whatever.
We had already been dealing with some like over patrolling microaggression nonsense, and so by this, like, we had already had like the little ranger people drove through, and so by the time the car came, I was like, whatever, just keep it fucking moving, and like. Then he like got closer and closer, and I was like, this is some bullshit. Like, our music's not even that loud. I'm ready to be like, nah. And then
her mama is white, so she always ready to go off.
I'm so ready. I want to speak to the manager. That's me all forever.
I'd be like,
forever.
can we just not speak to the manager?
But then she gets out the car, and I'm like, oh, what happened?
But wait, so as I'm pulling up, right, I'm knowing all of this. Like, I'm knowing that they've been fucking with us since we got to the park. Like, they didn't even want to let us in the park.
That I'm probably high.
Right. So I see them as I'm pulling up, and I'm like, at first I was gonna try to like joke with them, but they looked so stricken that I was like, I can't. I have to get out and assure them that everything is fine, because they look like they'd seen a ghost. And so, especially Rose, like, Rose just looked shock, horror when I got out the car, when I got out of that state trooper vehicle. Like, the look on Rose's face, shock, fucking horror.
Ready to go to war, and having to switch down to like, oh shit, I'm gonna have to talk her out of this. So I gotta, what happened? Like, I just assumed like she had weed. Like, at first I didn't know what happened. I thought there was an accident. I didn't know what happened, and I just was like, I was ready to cuss this cop out, and now I don't know what to do. Like, do I cuss this cop out? Like, what's going on? Like,
so I get out the car, and I'm like, everything is fine. That's the first thing I say. Everything's fine. I'm fine. I said, mischief she broke down. She's not drivable. This man, is gonna, because I didn't have my cards on me or anything, so he was like, he had agreed to take me back to the campsite so I could explain to my sister and my friend what happened. And then he was like, I'll take you to town so that you can get service, so that you can call who you need to call, and if you're gonna rent a car, I'll take you to Amsterdam, which mind you was 45 minutes away from where we were. I'll take you to Amsterdam so that you can get the car rental and be okay. Like, he was gonna basically chauffeur me around all day, and I was like so surprised. So I'm like, okay, everything's good. I just have to go back, tell my friends, get my money, get my cards and shit so that I can be real for this. And I get out the car, Rose looks stricken, and the first thing my sister is asking me is, did my messages send?
You know, I really do not know the relationship like that, because I know Twylisha, but like I don't know how her and her sister are. Like, I haven't seen them interact. Like, this is our first morning together, so like as soon as she said that, I thought, well, in my family she get punched in the face.
So,
and I was like, I'm already like, oh my god, I'm about to be out here with this fucking domestic violence situation. I just wanted to relax. Her car broke down. Like, I was already pissed off because people who were supposed to go with us didn't come with us.
It was much.
We were gonna rent a car originally. Like, I was just like, oh.
Right, because my car wasn't even supposed to be out there. We were supposed to have rented a car, but because people let us down, I was like, fuck it, we'll just take my car. So my sister, did my messages send? I ignore her because, mind you, I still have fucking weed on me, and I'm trying to I fucking beeline it to my bag. I hit my tent. I dropped the weed off. I'm like, all right, boom, I had to get that away from me. And my sister is following me around, asking me inane fucking questions about service and her phone and her messages. And where is her phone? And I'm like, your phone is in the bag. Because I'm like, bitch, my car is completely broken. Like, you don't even know how we're going to get back to society yet. And you're asking me about where's your phone. Like, bitch. So,
like, oh, this is not going to go well. This is so not going to go well. I was so nervous for it.
But I'm trying to keep it cool because the trooper's still there.
Yeah, she was very calm.
I can't act out. So I get back in the car with the trooper. I don't even really pay. I pay my sister does because she's acting ridiculous. So I'm not gonna give her the time of day. And
mind you, she doesn't find the phone right away. So when Twy pulls off, I'm like, she's like, oh my gosh, I didn't get my phone, blah blah blah. And she's still going on, and I'm just like, well, your sister is out here in racist. She just drove off with a trooper. I feel like maybe you should be a little bit more concerned about that, but whatever. So maybe. So in the meantime, I go through the bag, find her phone that was clearly with the shit that Twy had taken out of the car. She opens the phone, and this is the part that I was like, oh, this is gonna be a weekend, because she was like, oh, these messages didn't even go through.
I'm gone. I'm handling business. I'm making sure we can get home with the trooper.
Like, I don't know you, but this is much.
So I'm in town with the trooper. I get in touch with my mom. She's like, yeah, I'll come down. I'll drop my car off to you. And she had somebody that was able to bring her back. And so I was like, I had my car towed to the mechanic at home. And I was like, all right, cool. It was 4 hours out of my day. I was ready to move on. It was some fucking shenanigans, but I was like, whatever. It's not like we're stranded out here, and that's what I was scared of, but I solved that problem. She was very
calm. Again, I really don't know her under pressure situations, because we've been mostly just chilling, taking walks, not having cars break down, not having family squabbles, not having, just all the, it was much. So I was just like, and in my head, I'm like, this is day one. Our trip is going to be ruined because, this is a mess. But she was like, no, I'm going to shower. I'm going to whatever. And we're going to camp. And I was like, cool. That's nice. All right.
The trooper brought me back to the campsite. They were gone. I figured they were at the showers. By that time, I was aching for a shower because, mind you, I was on the side of the road in a bra that I fashioned out of a headscarf and a nightgown. So I was just hot and sweaty.
I also knew that and was like, I'm just gonna leave her alone so she's ready to talk about whatever the fuck happened. I'm clearly opening these. But then I just was like, but her sister? kept being like asking these questions. How are we getting this? What's going on with it? And I was like, let her take a fucking shower. Like literally let her take
and
a
mind
shower.
you, I'm not hearing any of this. Like, this is Rose's perspective that you guys are getting. Like, I'm still just like, I'm like, all right, whatever. So I gather my shower things. I start heading to the showers because if you can't, you know that a lot of times you got to go somewhere to shower. It's not going to be right at your campsite. So I run into them coming from the showers. I was like, when I get back to the campsite, I'll explain everything to you guys. Rose is like, okay. My sister is like, I just want to know. And I was like, you know, I just need to take a shower. When I get back, I'll let you know what's going on. Everything's going to be fine, though.
I just feel like no more talking. Like, I already know. She had a crazy morning. Like, she wasn't going to not tell us.
It's a secret.
It wasn't like she was going to get back to the campsite and be like, guess how you're getting home. You know, I was like, okay. But let her decompress a little bit.
You know, I'm like, let me just wash up, get the sweat off me, get the stress off me. So I get back to the campsite. Rose has started to heat up my breakfast that I thought I was going to have 2 hours prior. And so I'm like, oh, she's insane. And she's like, I can feel her energy. Like, she's really anxious and being like really ginger around me. Like, here's something to eat. You ready to eat? Here's this. You know, you're going to be all right. And so, you know, I'm like, I eat my food. And I'm like, at that point, I'm like, okay, I'm good to go. I showered, I ate, I solved the problem.
I'm sorry, if you see me, like, I'm just kind
No,
of...
I see him.
Okay.
I seen him swimming up. So we're
But
right
now
by the
he's
lake, y'all. There's like a little duck guy that act like he want to know what we doing.
I'm just afraid because we have some garlic parmesan pita chips that have a strong odor.
You think he gonna run up on us?
I don't think he's gonna run up on us, but I also want to just be aware.
Leave us alone, ducky. These animals at this particular state park is real bold.
We were hiding from a deer.
Yes, we were. I was like, I will get in the car. Oh, look at him. Oh my God. Oh my God, he gonna be on the show with us.
He's gonna be dinner if he keeps fucking around. I don't
Ooh.
like. Wait, is he coming up on the day? I don't like when like wild animals don't act wild. Like, it's not cool. Stop it.
Oh, where he at? I can't see him.
He's on. Oh my gosh.
Wait.
Wait a second.
He's approaching us.
No, I don't want to be. Oh wait, they pack. I don't want to be packed. Where is it? I don't want to be.
I don't know what to do. He's
Sorry.
approaching us. Okay. Why are you over here, duck? I mean, okay.
Hold on.
We're in control of the situation. He's just a duck.
It's fine. It's all fine.
Scat.
There's nothing to see here. I just want it to go away, and it's just chilling. Way too hard. Oh my gosh. Okay. Are we gonna have? Oh my gosh. Why is it coming over here?
Are we gonna have to run from a duck?
I don't know if we're gonna have to run. I mean, we shouldn't have to run from a duck. I mean, it's like eating. It's ducky stuff. Why is it over here though? I don't.
Oh my goodness.
Oh wait, is the duck on camera now? Because if y'all can see this.
Do y'all see this duck? Yo, he is. This is a flex. Like, this is a.
Yeah. Okay. Big flex. Is the duck on frame? Can you see?
I don't know. I'm too scared to be checking this. Oh my God. Okay. Get back in the water.
Get back in the water.
Oh my goodness gracious. Get back in the water. That was a flex, you guys. He just came here and threatened us. I feel like that duck threatened our lives. Yo, I just feel like that duck just was like, get down or lay down. Yo. He's not getting. Get back in the water.
Get back in the water, ducky.
Oh my God. Get back in the water.
There's nothing for you.
Yo. Okay, you guys. The duck just came over and said,
right,
get down or lay down.
I can't. All right, we gotta relay the touch.
Oh my God. I lost the flip flop in the melee. Wait, can I use your shoulder?
Yes, but where'd you? Hold on, let me get your flip flop. This is much.
Wow.
I was here. Where are you? Oh, I gave you your flip flop.
Oh, no, this one is the one.
Oh.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Whoa. Y'all.
better stay in that fucking water. I'm not.
Oh my God, this duck.
Why? Why is it swimming back?
No.
Don't you get over here and act stupid.
All right.
We said no.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. It's like when you go to New York and they're trying to sell you stuff outside.
You guys, that was a scene.
We were threatened. Okay, we gotta fix, I think. I don't know what. Okay.
Oh my God.
Alright.
That duck came and threatened our lives. Oh my God. Wow. Okay.
That was much. Do you have a lighter? Here, take this. I don't even want.
Sheesh.
She's up on the table. I was like, I am not. I'll fight a duck.
Listen,
I'm not gonna fight a deer. I was in the car with the
She
deer.
could have fought the duck. I know they got teeth. They be acting aggressive. I don't
Grab
fuck
it
with
by
ducks
the
and
neck.
geese.
Because you gotta grab it by like the short part of the neck.
She from the country. I'm
It
from the
would have
hood.
been dinner. I look at most things like it could be dinner. I mean, I'm in my own little apocalypse world. That's why I like camping. Anyway, sorry. We were telling a story.
So where were we? Oh my God, that duck just flexed on us. Oh my goodness.
Your sister pressing you after you got back about how we're going home.
So right.
Service.
Rose is
Nonsense.
being reasonable, helping me unwind, feeding me food. Great. Is that your phone? Are we not supposed to tell the story?
No. We're supposed to tell this.
Do you want it?
I mean, just so I can turn it off. I hate being that person. It's always like, whose phone is it? There's only two of us. You know it's my phone. I also know when she'd be calling me. I don't know this number. I'm looking for a job. So I'm checking these numbers in case someone wants to call me about employment. Just in case eating snacks in the woods doesn't work out for me.
We want this to be our job. So anyway,
Subscribe.
back to the story.
Patreon.
So back to my sister. She's acting like a maniac. She's like, I just want to know, what did she ask me if like I would take her to town so she could call her mother?
Yeah.
Or like what's like some bullshit she said, and I was like, I just looked at her and I was like, I called my mother. She's bringing her car. We're gonna continue our trip, and that's how we're gonna get home. Like everything's gonna be fine. She's like, oh, okay. Like, but she's still just being weird. But like, what are you gonna say back to that? Like, if you want your mom to come out here and get you, she sure enough can.
But that's the thing. Like, that's what like Twy didn't know. Like, but when Twy wasn't around, she's like, I'm gonna have to call so and so and have them come get me, and I'm gonna have to pay someone to come. And I'm just like, wow. Like, she's gonna leave her in the mountain. That's kind of fucked up. Not knowing that it's mostly just her like gaslighting me, because I was like, come to find out that was never gonna happen. Like,
why would that happen? Her mother was not gonna come anyway. It's such a non-issue. That's why she was saying that shit to Rose and not to me, because we would have gotten into an argument if she was saying those things to me, but she really wasn't. All I really had seen up to that point was the freak out that I mentioned last time, where she thought that I was gonna stab her with the knife that I brought to protect her with. Fucking weirdo, yo. Anyway, you know, so I hadn't seen this, but like at one point that night after, you know, my mom came, my mother's car is smaller than my car, but my mother's car worked and my car had a broken hip bone, so my mom's car was better than my car.
And her mom showed up like almost Domino's time, and we were in the middle of nowhere. Like, her mama just showed up. I was like, that's mad dope that she just came and she had someone else follow her out so she could get a ride back. And I was just like, look at, like, for me, that's the most functional family I've ever seen on some shit. So I was like, okay. And it was handled. And like, Twy was over it. So I was like, okay, this is nice. But
so like, cool. My mom shows up. I'm like, Mom, thank you so much. You saved our lives. Like, I thought we was gonna be stranded out here.
What kind of car does your mom have? Because her mom
she has like a what is it? It's like a Ford. It's a little hatchback thing.
It's a tiny car. I'm 5'9", so it was just, I definitely was like, it's a small car, but like, also thank God we have a car. But it's gonna be.
But we had camping shit for 2.5 people. My sister wasn't real.
So, but we had it. Like, it was gonna be tight. Like.
But we were going to get home. So I go back up with my mom to the front to see her off and to thank her again, like, and you know, to just be like, oh, also because my niece was there and my great niece was there, so I came up to say hello to them. So, you know, by this time, my mood is fine. I have, like, solved our problem. I know that we have a way home. It didn't cost me an arm and a leg. I know I'm going to get reimbursed for my toe. You know, the only thing that's really I'm worried about is how much it's going to be to fix my car. But I'm like, I got a job. I have I have credit. Like, I'll be able to see to it. It's not going to end me like it might have a couple years ago. So I'm like, whatever. I'm out here to camp. Like, I'm not out here to have a sad face because my car broke.
Because I know way too many people, like, their attitude would just ruin a trip. And I'd be like, but I only have so much time to relax. Like, can we just have a good fucking time? So it was nice that we still get to have a good time.
So when I pull back up, you know, in my mom's car and park, and, like, at this point, I'm ready to see to the rest of my day. Because, like, this has consumed one of my whole vacation days. At this point, I still have my day job. And I'm just like, I took off for this. And this is, not that I have an attitude, but it's just wasting a lot of my time where I'm supposed to be chilling or maybe going for a hike or seeing something cool or hanging out with my friend. Instead, I'm dealing with car bullshit. So I was just ready to go ahead and be to the next part of my day. And at some point, Rose and I get by ourselves, and that's when I get filled in on the other side of this story.
Which is crazy, because now, mind you, at this point, she still hasn't gotten a Wi-Fi. And I, again, don't really know the dynamics. When we finally drove to Wi-Fi, and she acted like people were dying to know where she was. They had to know. Like, she disappeared in the middle of the night.
Like, I kidnapped her.
And
she asked to be there.
He said something about a kid. I'm like, well, maybe that makes sense. Like, maybe, I don't know.
My kid is 16.
Not, again, I don't have all the details. Whatever. But then she makes this bum-ass phone call.
Not a bum-ass phone call.
Bum-ass phone call. Because, like, the whole tone is like, oh, I made it. I'm at the campsite. There's no service. And, like, I can hear, like, yup. And I'm like, they don't care. Whoever that is, they don't care that you're gone.
Oh, yeah, because there was one place, like, one little zone that was, like, maybe, like 5 or 10 minutes away from the camp itself where Rose got service. I didn't get no service nowhere. So we went there to hang out, and she was, like, thirsting to go call this nigga. And he didn't give a damn what she was doing. She could have died out there. He wouldn't have been phased.
But again, I thought, like, the way she was acting, she was like, he's got to know where. I don't know. He's going to be so devastated. And I was like, damn. Like, I'm thinking it's some...
She said, damn, that's real serious.
Like, I'm thinking it's some Ike and Tina love. Like, she's going to get beat. Like, I don't know. But then this nigga could care less. I was like, oh, man. It was almost, like, underwhelming. I was so disappointed.
Very anticlimactic. So when Rose and I are by ourselves, she's like, your sister's been bugging. And I was like... And I'm thinking to myself, like, yeah, you know, that's how she is. Like, I had seen some things. I was like, well, you know, she just, I don't know what's wrong with her. But then Rose was like, no. Then she's like, she's complaining about this. She's complaining about that.
Oh, it was at the point when her mom brought the car up. And she was like, I ain't riding back in that. And I was like, well, bitch, how you went home?
And again, I'm not there for these things. So when Rose is telling me, and I was like, she was like, yeah, when you left with the police officer, she was talking all this and this and that. And I was like, wow, you would think my own sister would maybe be concerned.
And again, why are you saying these things to me? I'm here with your sister. I'm her friend. I don't know you either. What are you talking about? So I was just like, I don't know what's supposed to happen. So every time she would say something about her phone or her Wi-Fi, I'd be like, it's fucked up how your sister is out there. And her car is jacked up. That's going to be expensive. I feel so bad. Like, I had no time for whatever she was doing. I was like, I don't know what's going on, but, like,
Rose was
are
like,
you even
I'm not
related?
She was like, she told me how, like, her son, when their older siblings were being bad, he would just smirk off and be like, nope, I'm not part of that. She did that to my sister. I'm not taking part in this conversation. I will not. Your sister has had an ordeal today. Nobody cares about your message.
Especially once I realized, like, it was in her head that, like, no one really gave a fuck where the fuck she was at or what she was up to.
So, I'm just getting this information fresh, and I'm just like, and I was like, this is why I didn't want to invite her. Like, I went back and forth about it, but I found no way where I could not invite her and it not be turning into a conversation about how I hate her and like all this fucking dumb shit. And it's like, bitch, it's not that I hate you. It's that you're a ridiculous person. Like, you should have cared about me enough to not worry about your phone the first thing when you see me being brought back to the site by a state trooper.
You guys all have ridiculous family. I've met most of the people. People are ridiculous, so I feel like you all are related. You guys know that you are all ridiculous and your family are too. I don't want
to
you know.
So that's the gist of it. Like, you just, at the end of it, I remember telling Rose, I was like, because Rose was like, well, I think, she did learn from this and grow from this, and like, she did appreciate it in the end. And I was like, I'm sure she fucking did. I said, but she didn't have any of the means to get here. I did everything in my power to make sure that she got here. And what did she do? She showed her fucking ass. And I was like, so this was very rewarding for her. But what did I get out of it?
Yeah, that's very true. With a lot of, like, toxic family relationships. Oh, also, I finally did lose it the last day. Okay, so I'm pretty much, like, mediation Mary when it comes to being around other people, just because mostly hashtag trauma, but like, I just don't like a fuss. So like, if it's like, this is what happened, whereas I was done with her. Now I made it all 3 days with all the craziness. I was like, whatever she said, I was like, whatever it ain't me, s'more time, whatever it ain't me, ooh, a flower crown. Like, I was like, I'm just gonna be a nature fairy. I don't care what happens, right? Then this bitch says something that I was like, her? Like, I did a Scooby-Doo and I was like, nah. Like, it felt like someone, like, God tagged me in, because I was trying to
I don't even know where the conversation came from. Somehow we started talking about 50 Cent.
I know it was from her. We were not talking about 50 Cent in the woods. That did not come from us. Like, I know that was coming from her.
Somehow we started talking about 50 Cent and his son wanting, like, more than one pair of shoes at a time. And she was like, she thought that was, like, absurd. And I was like, well, it's not absurd. I was like, his father's a millionaire. Like, why would he only have, I'm sure Curtis doesn't have one pair of shoes. Like, why would his son have one? Like, it doesn't. And he was like, and then she starts having all this weird bass in her voice, like, nah, because kids they feel like they're entitled to things. They should have to work for things. Kids deserve the bare minimum. Like, those were the words that came out of her mouth. Children deserve the bare minimum. And I was like,
I'm like prepping dinner or whatever, and I'm like, well, you don't. Because at this point,
because I was questioning her, and she said I was attacking her, and I was like, I'm not attacking you. You just said, because when I said it back to her, she was like, that's not what I said. And I was like, that is what you said. And I wanted you to expand upon that, and now you're mad.
So I was like, I'm just gonna I be trying, and like I just told you, most of the time I want to speak to the manager, but not when it comes to family business. When it comes to family business, I don't get involved.
When it comes to family business, you mind your business.
So I was like, here's my thing as a mother, and I was like, so what you said is, if I'm correct, that a child deserves just the bare minimum, just to be fed, just to be clothed, just to eat. Like, that's it. And like, but then when you were talking earlier in the day, you were saying that you felt like your mom shortchanged you on some things. Like, you would have liked to have had more things in your life. So when you become a parent, wouldn't you want your kid to have more than the bare minimum, which is what you kind of said you had? Now, that's not what I said. And I'm fine for playing these. Like, I'm fine. Like, I'm cool. I can take it. It's not a thing. I got kids. You can yell at me all day. Whatever. But I was just like, in my head. Now, this is the part that Twy I don't think is aware of. I was like, that bitch is definitely sitting in the back, because up until that point, I was totally gonna be like, I'm gonna let her sit in front, and I'll just ride the way home with the. Like,
Because she had complained the whole time about sitting in the back with the stuff. Because again,
what was she, 5'4"? I'm 5'9".
we had 3 people's, 2.5 people. My sister was not real, so 2.5 people's camp gear in my Nissan Altima. Okay, like it's not like I got an SUV or something fancy. It's just a little mid-sized sedan. And then it got downgraded to a compact car, so she was all like, this stuff, like she was all fussing and carrying on about having to sit in the back with the stuff. I can't, my throat is on fire. And fussing about having to sit in the back with the stuff, and I'm looking at her like, because when we were leaving and we were getting things packed, like I had tried to stay cool for most of the weekend. We were leaving and we were getting things packed, and like she kept trying to make it so that she would be in the back seat with I don't know nothing, and I was like, listen, you're just gonna have to be back there with the stuff. It's the only way we're gonna make it home. And then she was like, you're always yelling at me, and I'm just like.
However, the great part of this trip is because we did get Blackout Campout from this trip.
Yes, we did.
That there was
snaps.
Okay.
We just had an epiphany on the riverbank one night.
Like, there were great parts of this trip because this was still us, like, establishing camping, you know, that we could do it on our own, having what we needed, working, you know, you have to work together. Like,
I don't.
Okay. You have to work together in that kind of situation. It was like us definitely, just gonna put that there, working out. So we were doing a good job and enjoying it.
Having a good time. Minus my sister being a fucking crazy person the whole way through, and I was just like, why are you being so difficult? You asked to be. That was the thing that I couldn't. I was like, I can't. She acts like I kidnapped her. She act like I asked her to come here. I didn't even want to invite you, but I didn't want to have the other drama. Either which way, as you could see, it would have been drama. And so this is what I mean to wrap it up. I feel like this is a long way to go back to saying you have to go camping with the right people. My sister, not the right people. Rosemary, the right people.
I mean, you're basically just, that was the thing too, like what Twy didn't like notice or wasn't really taking in, which I was just naturally absorbing, is because camping is so like communal, like you literally, but she wasn't like holding up her, like she wasn't like adding to the I'm gonna do this while you do this, but we were just naturally doing that, like, oh, if you're
like
out,
my
I'm
sister
start the
was
fire.
just not doing anything, like
if you're gonna wash the dishes and I'm gonna, like, it was just like we didn't have to, and she was just like, I'ma just eat and complain.
Or like
and
we would like be getting like
kids.
we would be getting meals ready, like Rose would be getting meals ready and putting stuff together, and then my sister would just pop out and like, I'm gonna just throw this patty on the grill, like, or something ridiculous, and it would just be like, we're gonna get, and I'd just be like, and again, it wasn't that I wasn't noticing it, it was just like one of those things that I know my sister is ridiculous, so I was just like,
yeah, I get that.
Whatever, like, am I gonna argue her down about every little thing? Like, literally she turned the argument out of thin air because we were going to see the water and she thought I was gonna stab her. So like, you can't go right with my sister. Like, every which way you go, you're gonna get it wrong.
I do.
So a lot of the bullshit that she was doing,
I'm thirsty.
I let it go. I just don't want to. I don't want to get started on Blackout Campout because I'm looking at the battery.
Oh, not this. Oh.
So if we start talking about Blackout Campout right now, it's not. We're not gonna finish. It's gonna cut off on us again.
Not the concept.
We can talk about.
That's what we were trying to get to about the trip, of why we got to talking about Blackout Campout and how we kind of came up with the idea.
Yes.
Like
so basically, like, that whole weekend, we would just be like, oh, this is so nice. Wouldn't it be nice if there were other black people out here with us?
Because there was no black people.
Oh, this is so beautiful. Could you imagine if there was like black people all along? You know, we were just imagining in our mind, like,
oh, can you put your music down? It's 6:00. Like, we're making dinner. It's sunny.
We're making dinner. We're like, as black people do, we make dinner with music. We cook with music. So like, we clean with music. We have fun with music. So like, we had music playing almost all throughout the day, like from morning to quiet hour. But like, after quiet hour, we was quiet. We weren't disrespecting the park's rules. But yeah, we were just like, we really want to have like a group of us, so like we could come in a force. And so we were on the riverbank, and I was sitting there, and I was having that thought again, and then I said to Rose, I said, well, I'm not going to mention this person's name, but I was like, well, the only way we're going to get the niggas is if we get this nigga. And she was like,
whack DJ.
Your local whack DJ. Just imagine, like, your local DJ that thinks he's popping because he got that local city on lock, but, like,
it's tragic.
You can see where his future's going. Anyway, but where we are, everybody's on their knees to their bloody red sucking this nigga's dick. So I was like, if we get him, people will come. And Rose was like, yeah, they will. She sounded a little hesitant, but I was like, they will. She was like, no, you're right. So I was like, all right, well, whatever. We were super excited. Like,
I had worked with him before, but I had never paid him. And usually he seemed to be about his money. So when she said that, my only hesitation was, I've worked with him before. He's kind of like, But I was like, I've never paid him. Like, in a community sense, I'd work with him. So I was like, if we giving him money and we giving you your full rate, no discount, no, we're cool people, it's just, what's your rate, nigga, let's do this. I feel like we should get a different quality of dude.
We should be treated as you would treat a client. Like, we're your client. We're hiring you. We're going to pay you what you ask us to pay you.
But we will get to that.
So anyway, but she's like, you're right, because people in where we're from, they just love this nigga. Like, wherever he goes, they go. Like, we've seen it, we watch it. Like, this nigga throw the same party every week, and they be there, and they finest fashion Nova threads every week. Like, we dancing to this nigga, whatever. Anyway, that's another conversation. So we are like bouncing ideas off of one another. Like, Rose is like, I want to have a brunch. I'm like, I want to have a movie night. We're both like, we got to have a game table. Like, we're just so excited to really put together an experience for our people and have like a bunch of black people in the woods. We were so excited. And like, my sister was there, but she wasn't really adding nothing to the conversation because
and that's the thing. Like,
she wouldn't.
No, and I don't know her, so it's like she seemed interested. And I didn't know. That's why at that point I was like, oh, well, maybe she took away something from this. But then, anyway, we'll get to the event.
She can't do the work.
Because she didn't come to the event when it did come to fruition. So
I think by the time the event happened, I had her blocked. I was like, I ain't got time, because
people was acting crazy. But we'll
everybody
get to
was
that.
out of
That's
control.
that's a whole episode. We were literally just going to talk about the conception before
So,
the battery
yes.
dies again.
So basically, in maybe an hour-long conversation on the riverbank that day in Sacandaga.
It was gorgeous.
It was beautiful. We were
So
under the
many
stars. We were smoking a blunt.
FYI, when we were here today, I want to bring up the point that it was a full moon last night. It was the pink full moon.
Pink full moon.
Also, today,
And
which
Scorpio.
was super cute. It was our Facebook friends anniversary, which is very serious because we pretty much were cyber friends for the beginning. We were very much like all done with real people.
Yeah.
So
like we had like maybe like a year and a half of like talking to each other during the workday on Facebook Messenger before we actually were like, you want to do something like together in person,
like adults, and see how this
I think
goes.
we went on like that boat ride.
Oh God, and
the boat ride was cool, and Rose was cool.
I brought. It was always me. I'm always forever trying to be. I'm super awkward about giving people chances, and like, again, we'll get into that. It's a whole thing. But anyway, the thing was that we got into talking about this event, and we were both like, we can do this. Like, we could really.
We really believed in it in our heart of hearts. Like, we were like, we got this. Like, we had it so planned down to the minute in that conversation that I was like, there's no way it can fail. Like, I just was like, we're gonna do this, we're gonna sell it out, and it's not gonna fail. We're gonna charge this much money for it. And then Rose just woke up one day, like she wakes up at 4 and 5 in the morning and just be doing stuff, but she popped up and was like, oh, let me just get a fundraiser going real quick, just a quick small fundraiser. And like, it took off from there, and we were able to do it, and people had a really good time. But it all was back to that night, and we were trying to figure out the title, like what was gonna name it, and we were coming up with all these long ass wonky titles. Like, it was just a lot.
It was much. But again,
and so we were like, you know what? Why are we doing this? Like, we don't have to figure out the name of it right here in this particular moment. Like, let's go to bed. We planned basically the whole event. Like, we can go to bed for tonight. So We go to bed. Rose does her early riser thing. I want to smoke a blunt on the water and watch the sunrise.
You know, Scorpio shit. I always try and get to the water, and I'm always up early in the morning. Whenever I'm on vacation, I always get up and watch the water in the morning and do my little meditation. Like, it's just a thing I do. Wherever I go on vacation, I always find, like, the water and chill out for a second. Even if it's sitting on a bench next to a fucking river or something, whatever. But anyway, I was sitting there smoking it, and I was like, all of a sudden, I was like, yes. I was like, Blackout Campout. Simple. We need to keep it simple. They need to get the idea immediately. We need to trim this down. We gotta. And I was also high and shit. And I was like, I would never remember all those shits that they said if I saw that on a. And I always like, and then I had visualized it on a flyer and like all the things that you don't think about when you're passionately like, bah, 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 bah. So, and you know, that's like what an editing board is for. Like, you throw out ideas and, oh crap. Oh shit!
I thought the duck was back, girl. I thought the duck was back.
I just wanted to let y'all know I just seen a water moccasin and a snake.
What?
And they will. No, you're good. You're good. You're good.
Oh my God! No, because a duck came over here and threatened our lives.
Okay, so over there where that tree is, right there, that little skinny one near the water.
Uh huh.
Like right here. Did you see my friend Sky over there at the pool with a float?
Uh huh.
Okay, well right there where that tree is, I seen him in the water. He can get up
And go
on land.
No, we are aware.
Okay, so it's a water moccasin.
Yep.
Keep an eye out. Watch
Okay.
out. They'll be black.
Okay.
They're all black.
Yeah.
So like keep an eye on it. Just wanted to let you know.
Oh,
Thank you.
And they move pretty fast, so we're gonna be pretty much
I just
moving
wanted to,
along.
like, get in the water because I know that. Like,
Oh,
we're
no.
trying to find warm places right now.
Oh,
So like.
Thank you. No, thank you. Because we were like, oh, we want to sit by the... But you know what? After that duck came up here and threatened my life, I was like, I don't know.
She was up on the table, but thank you.
I
I'm
did
definitely
want to let you know.
Thank you.
He's right here at this tree. That's where the last time I seen him, and he like went away.
Okay.
Keep an eye on them. You'll see about this much of their head, and they're not like a stick. Like you know how a stick like goes like this with the water. Yeah, no, it'll go under when a wave comes.
Oh.
So that's how you can tell a stick from a snake. I was
Okay.
raised around water, so I just want to know.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
wow.
We're from like upstate New York, and we don't really have like snakes and stuff
not
in our
those
water.
kind of
We
snakes.
usually have like little fish and like garter snakes.
But
Ooh, child.
I just wanted
Listen.
to let you know,
But yes,
because
thank you.
I was born and raised on this lake, so like I know
Ah,
what to look for. I know what they are. Like I just wanted to make sure that y'all.
No, we appreciate that.
you.
Thank
Oh,
you
thank
very
you.
much.
I don't want to like interrupt anything.
Oh no,
Oh,
you're
no.
fine. We're gonna leave this in because that was nice. We making a podcast. This is like what we doing.
But I just wanted to let you know.
All right,
thank
thank
you
you.
so much.
Oh, that was very nice of her. Like, look,
That's
this
great.
wildlife.
But
We really
also,
camping.
I'm
y'all.
also done. Like we can pack this all up.
Oh, she wanna now. She don't even want to finish telling y'all about
batteries,
Blackout
like the battery's
Campout.
dying.
Look
Nah.
at she trying to do her hoodoo on my electronics. Leave my computer alone. Well, we are about 46 minutes, and we have the previous episode, and you know I'm not really into snakes myself,
Blackout
and I do
Campout
feel a little
is
anxious.
beautiful. It's what you know.
Like, okay, now that we getting ready to leave, we can show y'all where we at. You see this? Where we at?
I don't know. Now it looks like this could be like the footage.
Oh my God! Now Rose is in a panic.
She
We gotta go.
Watch this be the Blair Witch footage. All of a sudden, the moccasin just
A water moccasin jumps in the frame.
look. Anaconda just leaps into the no.
All right, y'all. Well, I'm gonna let the water take us out today, I guess. And we'll be back for more blunt conversations. Look at the jet ski dude. No, jet ski bro fell off. He's in there with the water moccasin. He's brave.
I would not be.
I'm glad Shorty came over here because I don't do snakes.
I don't mind snakes if they're not poisonous, but water moccasins are,
I ain't got time.
and they're aggressive. Like that's why I'm like, oh no.
Like aggressive? You ain't said nothing but a word, Miss Lady.
Like there's certain snakes you don't fuck with. Like copperheads you don't fuck with. Moccasins you don't fuck with.
You ain't said nothing but a word. She ain't had to tell me twice.